Well, amid growing Chinese pressure in the South China Sea, the Philippines has started to shift its strategic ties, deepening both official and unofficial ties with Taiwan and gradually redefining its national security priorities. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, Manila, that was once cautious about engagement with Taipei, is now perhaps taking quiet but decisive steps that reflect how closely its fate is tied to Taiwan's. That includes increasing security coordination despite publicly following the One China policy. Philippine Defense Secretary underscored that any Chinese military activity in Philippine water demands serious attention. Teodoro acknowledged that developments in Taiwan directly affect the Philippines. He also backed a Japanese view that considers the East China Sea, South China Sea and Korean Peninsula as one interconnected military zone. The Philippines has faced escalating tensions with China, especially in the contested waters of the South China Sea. Chinese ships have increased their deployment near the western Philippine coast. Philippine authorities also report a rise in cyber attacks and espionage believed to be rising from Beijing. In response, the Philippine Coast Guard has patrolled the Bashi Channel, the waters between Taiwan and the Philippines alongside Taiwanese vessels. Now in June, Japanese warships also docked in Manila for a 3-month-long deployment in the Indo-Pacific region. And last month, observers from Taiwan's Navy and Marines attended joint military exercises led by U.S. and Philippine forces. Now, these drills, known as Kamandag, involve U.S., Philippine and Japanese troops practicing anti-ship missile launches from the Batanese Islands. Just over 200 kilometers from Taiwan, though Philippine officials insisted that the exercise targeted no specific nation, experts say that the drills clearly rehearsed a possible response to Chinese aggression towards Taiwan. While Taiwan did not send troops to take part, its personnel monitored the drills and joined in the planning procedure, perhaps signaling a quiet but growing military understanding between the island and Manila. China has voiced strong disapproval, growing ties between Manila and Taipei on that. In April, when the Philippine military chief told troops to be ready in case of a Taiwan invasion, unaware that he was being recorded, Beijing issued a sharp warning. More recently, China reacted to U.S. missile deployments in the Philippines by accusing Manila of aligning itself with Washington's military ambitions. A Chinese defense spokesperson claimed that the Philippines had become, and I'm quoting here, co-conspirator in regional destabilization. That's what China is saying. The shift in Manila's stance has reportedly unsettled some of its Southeast Asian neighbors as well. Countries like Malaysia worry that the Philippines' alignment with Taiwan and with the U.S. could drag the region into a larger U.S.-China conflict. More than 150,000 Filipino workers currently live and work in Taiwan, and in the event of war, they would need immediate evacuation, adding perhaps another layer of urgency to the Philippines' defense considerations. Under its mutual defense treaty with the United States, the Philippines could be drawn into direct military action should a war break out over Taiwan. In 2023, the U.S. expanded its military footprint in the Philippines, gaining access to 4 additional bases. 3 of them are located on Luzon, the Philippine island closest to Taiwan, and Manila has not confirmed whether it would permit the U.S. perhaps to use these sites in a possible Chinese invasion of Taiwan. And shifting our focus to India now, police in the northern state of Uttarakhand together with the Special Task Force claim to have busted an international drugs gang after raiding an MDMA drug factory in Nanak Mata Dam area of the Udham Singh Nagar district in Uttarakhand. The key accused, Kunal Kohli, has been arrested in connection with the case. And it turns out that his smuggling racket spreads far and wide and even globally. According to reports, the Uttarakhand police has managed to retrieve MDMA, also known as meth or ecstasy, 126 liters of banned chemical and 28 kilograms of powder from this factory in Uttarakhand, which makes all these raw ingredients for drugs worth rupees 12 crore. The Udham Nagar police has drawn links to this case with a drug bust conducted by the Maharashtra police, where close to 11 grams of MDMA was reportedly recovered in the past.
The state police has been able to procure 7.4 grams of MDMA from the factory raid near the Nanak Mata Dam. Our investigations indicate an interstate network producing 12 crores worth of MDMA. We thank the Mumbai police for flagging this issue.
Reports also suggest that the two arrested in the Maharashtra case blew the whistle on a larger interstate smuggling network during the investigation, and also informed about the heads operating behind it. The Champavat police in Uttarakhand calls the statewide crackdown a major milestone and also an initiative part of drug-free Devabhoomi mission directed by the state's chief minister. Now, the question is, how spread out or vast is this network really? Turns out, from the north to the south of the country, reportedly covering Thane to Ghaziabad and even Varanasi, and even across the border to Nepal. In other news, Ethiopia's National Intelligence and Security Service has announced the arrest of 82 individuals affiliated with ISIS, who were trained and deployed to carry out terror operations across various parts of the country. According to a statement by the National Intelligence Security Services, or NISS, some of those apprehended are thought to have participated in illegal activities such as gathering intelligence, funding and logistics as well. On Tuesday, Ethiopia's NISS announced that the detentions took place in Addis Ababa and the regions of Oromia, Amhara, Somalia and Harare. Now, the 82 suspects were a part of the Islamic State Somalia affiliate, which operates in the semi-autonomous Puntland region. The security agency also noted that community members played a role in aiding the arrests, and investigations are currently ongoing. This crackdown is a part of ongoing efforts to counter the growing influence of Islamic State factions in the region amidst increased U.S. military actions. In recent years, the ISIS faction in Somalia has become an increasingly important part of its parent organization's worldwide network. However, despite their growth, the faction remains smaller in comparison to the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab group. The U.S. military has amplified its airstrike efforts against these militants. Well, a stark fault line has fractured the facade of Western support for Ukraine. While President Trump pushes a sweeping multi-billion-dollar arms deal, key European powerhouses are reportedly opting out, sparking deep divisions over who pays the escalating price for Kiev's survival. Our next report telling you more.
Missiles roar across battlefields where Ukraine fights for survival. But behind the scenes, the fight for support grows just as fierce. President Donald Trump unveiled an ambitious plan for European nations to purchase billions of dollars in US-made weaponry, including vital Patriot missile systems, and funnel them directly to Ukraine.
Anything for it, but we will send it. It'll be business for us, and we will send them Patriots, which they desperately need, because Putin really surprised a lot of people.
However, the ink barely dried on the announcement before cracks began to appear, threatening to undermine the very solidarity Ukraine desperately needs. France and Italy are reportedly pulling out of the NATO-financed plan to buy US advanced weaponry for Ukraine. Paris, facing its own significant budget constraints, argues that diverting funds to US manufacturers would stifle its domestic arms sector and delay the continent's independent military buildup. European Union has publicly challenged Trump by bluntly insisting that the US must share the burden of arming Ukraine.
call is that everybody would do the same. It's if you promise to give the weapons but say that somebody else who is going to pay for it is not really given by you, is it?
There is also confusion over which nation would be sending the much-needed Patriot systems to Ukraine and when.
We must not have any illusions. A Patriot system that we now say should go to Ukraine will take months before it can be delivered. So we are now talking about days, perhaps weeks, until a decision is made. But then it will happen very quickly.
The simmering transatlantic tug-of-war over financial responsibility threatens to slow down the very weapons deliveries Ukraine so desperately needs, potentially prolonging the agony on the front lines. As Russia continues its brutal offensive, these internal Western divisions risk emboldening Moscow and deepening Ukraine's struggle.
In a world growing more connected and yet more isolated than ever, South Korea is taking an innovative approach in a bid to tackle a growing mental health crisis. We are talking about the epidemic of loneliness, which is not just a social issue. It connects to high suicide rates and plummeting birth numbers. Seoul has now opened mind convenience stores. But these are not your typical corner shops. Soft lift interior, massage chairs, foot spas, ramen station and quiet activity zones. Here, residents struggling with loneliness can sit in comfort, enjoy a meal, watch a movie or simply spend time in company. People don't have to talk here. The idea is that even passive interactions can help combat the city's loneliness epidemic. Unlike traditional therapy centers, these spaces are informal, stigma-free and open to all. Visitors can even speak to on-site counselors there or just enjoy a moment of stillness. In Seoul, home to nearly 10 million people, single-person households have surged from 16% to nearly 40%. In all homes in just over 2 decades, that's the number. A 2022 Seoul Institute survey found that 62% of single-person households report experiencing loneliness, while city estimates suggest that 130,000 young people suffer from social isolation. In such a situation, Mind Stores offers something rare, a safer space to just be. In a city known for speed and pressure, sometimes all it takes is a quiet chair, a warm meal, and a reminder that you are not alone.